This video demonstrates the new Recurring Cleanings feature in the Cleaning section. You'll now see a new tab called Recurring Cleanings. Recurring cleanings allow you to schedule cleaning types that aren't based on reservation events, but instead happen according to a recurring schedule. For example, you might offer daily housekeeping during a guest stay, weekly housekeeping services for long stays, a weekly deep clean, or a monthly hot tub service. A common challenge with these types of cleans is that you may want them to run on a schedule, but only while a property is occupied. You don't want housekeeping being scheduled every day when the property is vacant. That's exactly what this feature is designed to handle. When you open Recurring Cleanings, you'll see 3 templates that are already set up for you: daily housekeeping, weekly deep clean, and monthly hot tub service. You can use one of these templates as a starting point, or create a schedule completely from scratch. I'll use daily housekeeping as an example. At the top, you can give the task a title. This is the title that will appear on the cleaning task when it's created. Next, you can choose how often the clean should occur. You can schedule it by day, week, month, or year, and then enter the number of those intervals. So you could schedule something every day, every 18 days, every 3 weeks, or whatever schedule makes sense for your operation. You'll then choose the start date, which determines when the recurring schedule should begin. You can also set the scheduled time for the clean and the estimated completion time. For example, you could set the clean to take 1 hour, 2 hours, or 4 hours, and you can also enter a specific number of minutes, such as 90 minutes. Next, you need to select which properties this recurring clean should apply to. You can either select specific listings or use a property tag to apply the schedule to multiple listings at once. For example, you might select all properties with a particular location, area, or city tag. One important thing to be aware of here is duplicate tags. You might have both an area tag and a city tag with the same name. For example, you could have an area tag called Sydney and a city tag called Sydney. But those tags may not represent exactly the same properties. For example, one property could have Sydney as its area tag, but Campbelltown as its city tag, while another property could have Sydney for both. If you select the Sydney city tag, the Campbelltown property would not be included, even though it has Sydney as its area tag. So if you notice that recurring cleans aren't being generated for certain properties, the first thing to check is your tags. Make sure you've selected the correct tag and that the tag is actually applied to every listing you want included. It's also a good idea to avoid duplicate tag names where possible. For example, you could use Sydney area and Sydney city as names, so it's immediately clear which one you're selecting. You can view tags per listing from the listing page on each individual property, and you can edit the tags via this tag icon here. As you can see next to each tag, it gives you the option to edit or delete, so this is how you can rename existing tags if you want to. The next section controls when the recurring clean should be scheduled based on occupancy. You have several options. Schedule this always means the clean will be scheduled according to the recurring schedule regardless of whether the property is occupied or vacant. Occupied only means the clean will only be scheduled while a guest is staying at the property. Occupied only skip arrival day works the same way, except the clean won't be scheduled on the guest's arrival day. This can be useful if you already perform a pre-arrival or turnover clean and don't want another cleaning scheduled that day. And finally, vacant only means the clean will only be scheduled when there's no guest currently staying at the property. You can also add a task description if you want to provide additional instructions for the cleaner. Next is assignee override. If you leave this blank, the cleaning will use the normal auto-assignment rules for that listing. So the clean will be assigned according to whatever you've configured for that property, whether that's a specific cleaner or the send offers process that goes to a primary cleaner first and then a backup cleaner. If you use an assignee override, you can specify different assignment rules for this particular recurring clean. For example, you might normally have one cleaner assigned to a property's turnover cleans, but want the daily housekeeping service to go to a different person. Then we have the checklist override section. If you leave this blank, the recurring clean will use the checklists already configured for that listing. For example, if a listing has several checklists attached to it, leaving this section blank means those regular listing checklists will be included in the cleaning task. If you want this recurring clean to use a specific checklist instead, you can select one here. For example, you might have a dedicated daily housekeeping checklist that's different from your normal turnover checklist. Selecting it here means that specific checklist will be used for this recurring cleaning task. Finally, we have the preview section. This lets you check how the recurring schedule will work for a specific property before saving it. First, select a property. You'll then see a calendar showing when the cleans will be scheduled. The purple dots represent the days when a cleaning would be scheduled, while the blue squares show when the property is occupied. Because this example is set to run only when occupied, you can see that the cleaning is scheduled on the occupied dates, but not during the vacant periods. This is a useful way to confirm that your schedule and occupancy settings are working the way you expect before you save it. Once everything looks correct, you can save the schedule. After you save it, the recurring cleaning tasks will be generated according to the rules you've configured. And remember, you don't have to use one of the existing templates. You can also select the option to create one from scratch. This will open a blank form where you can choose the cleaning type, title, schedules, properties, occupancy rules, assignment, checklist, and everything else based on exactly what you need. That's the new recurring cleans feature. It gives you much more flexibility for scheduling housekeeping, deep cleans, maintenance services, and other recurring cleaning tasks based on both your schedule and the occupancy of each property.